And go. All right. I'm here with Phil. His last name shall remain unknown. But Phil and I have done some coaching work together over the years. He's done one of my programs twice. He's done a lot of self-growth work on his own, and I'm excited to have this conversation with you kind of in this next phase of your life. So you've made some big changes here recently. Tell me about those.
Moved here February 1st because I was just tired of the life I was living. It was going nowhere. Where I'm from, I leveled up. I kind of quit my life to a video game, and when you know that you leveled up in a certain area, you've maxed out the XP, you've done all the missions, you've done just everything that you could to level up and be the person that you're supposed to be. After a while, you realize, no, it's time to go. It's time for new adventures. Time to get somewhere. It's just time to get, and it was just time to get.
Got it. So kind of a smaller town to a bigger town.
Oh yes. It's had its challenges too. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure it was a really big adjustment. Can you kind of get a little more specific on what you were hoping to find when you made this change to kind of a bigger city?
Yeah, I was hoping to find just those next levels, to expand on who I am, because like you said, we've worked together, and all the stuff that we've worked on, going to different medicine ceremonies, going to different just retreats and stuff like that, you realize you start realizing your potential. And I realized too that after all these years, I've lived in California and a few other places, never gave Phoenix a chance, because moving from where I'm from to here, it was cliche, but
sure.
it's a nice cliche because there's more opportunity here. So I was basically hoping to find, just like I said, just the next levels, and I found them. Okay. I found them, boy. You level up quick when you're down here in Phoenix. The opportunities just expand. Everything is just more. It's more, but at the same time, you still got to be careful. Yeah, you still got to be careful.
Sure. So when it comes to career, self-development and growth, maybe potential relationships or friendships, those types of things, physicality changes in your physical wellness, mental and emotional systems. Right. You would say that you were sort of on board for all of that.
Very on board for all that.
Okay.
Didn't realize that, because I am now a former massage therapist. I still got my license just in case. But coming from that world, I pretty much beat my body up. I'm doing something else different now. I'm still doing stretch therapy. It's doing the bills right now, but at the same time, I'm still expanding on really what I want to do.
Okay.
I love podcasting. I love being the creative type. I have a podcast now. I actually did my very first professional voiceover for a group in Flagstaff, and it came out well. I love the way it turned out, and I was thinking, I can do this full damn time and get paid for it, and have fun, and just act like a kid with all this in, because I am. At heart, I'm still a kid, and all this is new to me. I love exploring all this, all my options, all my just everything about my life. Love life, well, if it happens, it happens. I'm not in no rush. Right. I'm not in no rush.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And it's good to be aware of that, not to push something just because it feels like a checkbox to click off, or an expectation of, I'm X years old and I should have, XYZ at this point. So you've been reading my book, So You Hate Your Job Now, What? And you mentioned that you're doing stretch therapy currently.
Right.
Let's talk about that for a moment. It's different than massage, but it's still similar-ish. What's not fitting for you? What are you noticing coming up that are sort of your signals that that's not going to be your long-term thing?
Body aches and pains. The lower back, shoulders, my hands. Because you still have to use your hands in some capacity. And with the modality that we use, PNF, it's like you go into the position, tell them to push, they push, and then you have to meet the resistance, and then they relax, and then the stretch goes a little further. With that, you're still using your arms and everything, and some of those people, we tell them, hey, not so hard, just relax into it. And I'm finding that those old aches and pains are popping back up from when I was doing massage. Mm-hmm. I could have gone into something else like real quick, but honestly, being my age and maybe having some expectations of myself now, I didn't want to go back into fast food or any of that other stuff. I didn't want to take that initiative to say, okay, no, this is just temporary, when I knew it would have been a lot rougher. No, mm-hmm. Stretching. It's a very physically demanding job still, but going back into fast food and maybe the restaurant business, that's still, or even more, mm-hmm. taxing on the body.
Absolutely. I just, wrapped up a job where I was standing on my feet for 8 to 10 hours a day, no ergonomics, no really breaks in that. And after 3.5 months, I'm feeling it, mm-hmm. absolutely feeling it. And it has exaggerated pain and discomfort I was already having. So absolutely, running around a store, running around a restaurant, standing at a fast food counter, all those things mm-hmm. take their toll in some aspect.
Yes, they do.
Now, especially with how I wrote the book, of really digging into, let's get really practical and clear on what is not a fit in what you're doing. Because sometimes it's the environment, sometimes it's the duties, sometimes it's maybe the customers and the people that you are surrounded by. Maybe it's just not your environment from that aspect. It seems like maybe you're saying it's a little bit of all of it in terms of stretching not being a fit for you. But as you are reading through the book and you're identifying these pieces aren't fitting, and you're loving the voiceover and podcast mm-hmm. stuff, right now the stretching, like you said, is paying the bills, right?
Right, it is.
And that's one of the things I'm trying to get to in the book as well, is I'm not saying when something's not a fit for you that you jump ship immediately. Sometimes we have to hold on to what's covering the bread and butter and what's covering the essentials at the moment. Absolutely. And start crafting a plan, whether it's, hey, I'm going to volunteer in this area I'm passionate about. I'm going to create a side hustle. I'm going to start building and gradually digging into the areas and fields I do want to work on mm-hmm. and create this sort of bridge and safety plan so that I can make that transition in a way when I've got money in the bank, I've got my essentials covered. I'm not going to leave myself high and dry and then be trying to make it in this new field where I'm going to have to prove myself. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes, whether we're creating a new business, a side hustle, we decide that, hey, I'm a school bus driver and now I want to be a teacher. Well, when we kind of pump the brakes in the middle and then switch gears, all of a sudden it takes a while to ramp up in the new thing.
Yes.
And that's where, and I learned the hard way, making that jump before I had that bridge and that savings account and those sort of pathways opened up, and found myself kind of one hurting unit on the other side of it,
I've done it too.
Feeling desperate. So how do you see for yourself a way that you can make agreements and have conversations with your body of like, listen, this isn't forever. We are not going to stay in this place. I'm promising you that. And make those inroads in those areas that you really want to be spending more time in, and do it in a way that honors you and your needs and your core stability level. How do you see that happening?
For the first time ever, because I've always been a seat of my pants kind of person, just go with it. But the first time ever, I'm actually laying out a damn game plan. Because I realized that while it worked when I was younger, it doesn't work now when you get older. Especially with the way things are now, you have to have a game plan. And my game plan is just do a little every day. Practice my voice, my breathing. Even at work, I'm always looking at scripts. I'm reading them in my head and excuse me, and just practicing. I started doing little small Instagram reels and stories again. You've seen those. I started doing those again, and it's just getting that practice in and just knowing every day. I wake up every day, tell myself, you have to get this done. Body, we got this. Don't we're not panicking. We have to kick it up a notch. We have to kick it into higher gear if this is the lifestyle that we want, if this is what we truly want to do. And my body's like, okay, cool. I don't feel panicked. Thank you. Because before I would just switch gears. And then I'm just like, shit, what I do? Okay, this isn't working out. I got to go back to this. I got to get more hours in here. And no, now, like I said, I just take that deep breath and realize that it's going to get done. It's going to get done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. As long as I stay my course of what I have written down and do a little every day, and I have been, just a little every day, I see those chips falling away, and everything what I want starts building up. So yeah, I had a game plan.
Good.
Game plan. If you don't have one, yeah, because like I said, not a young man no more. I gotta be smart about this.
Absolutely. It's kind of like driving a car down this one road that you've been on for a while, and it's like, oh man, I hate this road. I hate the direction. I hate where it came from. I don't see anything interesting ahead. I'm going to veer off and take this other road without really looking at the map and the plan and having an idea of the destination, plus maybe taking a minute to learn the lessons that you learned on the other road before you veer off all wild and crazy. And then all of a sudden you've ran out of gas.
And then you're mad.
Yeah, exactly. Pounding on the steering wheel, and finding yourself in this place of distress. So that's an analogy I like. But what I was writing in the book as well to kind of make those points, and so you hate your job, is there's little things that you can do. You're flexing that muscle every day of making those recordings, doing a live Instagram, doing a live YouTube, sharing your thoughts and your ideas. Maybe there's some things like interviewing some people that are doing what you're doing and getting some of those golden nuggets along the way and building some of that rapport. Finding some associations out there and networking groups where those kind of people hang out. Go be rubbing elbows with them and learning what you learn and getting to know their names so that they're learning yours. Can you think of some other ideas like that? Looking at jobs online that are kind of posted in those areas of interest, and what's in the job description? What are they looking for you to turn in? A resume and a this and a that and the other? Do they want a voice sample? Do they want this and that? So, you're going to gather all that intel by doing that work, and maybe being willing to throw your name in the hat and apply for something, even if it's a bit of a stretch.
I would say, honestly, the way I started looking at all the podcasts. One of the podcasts I looked up podcasts for voiceover, and I'd say almost every major voiceover artist has some kind of podcast where they're telling you how the business works, the pitfalls, where you can go find the work. Fiverr, Udemy, and even making your own IP. There's a actress out there. She started a podcast because she wanted like a audio drama, because she was tired of waiting for Hollywood and knocking on Hollywood's door. So she's like, what, I'll just make my own. So she made an audio podcast, and it's taken off a lot, and so many others are doing the same thing. So that's what I'm doing. I do want to get my foot in the door. There are certain goals I want to hit doing voiceover. Like me, my biggest goal, and I'm going on record for this right now, I will be on the next Cyberpunk 2 game as a voice actor. I'm gonna do it, and in order for me to do it, I need skin in the game. Sure, I can do all the narration I want to, but if I really want to showcase what I can do, I'm currently building my own IP with my own audio drama. I'm working on the script. I've done little things here and there, and you've probably heard me. It sounds like I'm talking to myself, but I'm actually up in there just practicing my ass off. And that's the main thing you have to do. You have to be consistent. And like you said, you go to LinkedIn, go to Instagram, all these social media places. Say hi. Chime in on their podcast. Chime in on the comments. Don't be negative, because they look at that. Oh, they look at that. Be positive, even when you don't want to be positive. Offer some feedback. Mingle with the crowd. Mingle with the with the main person who's doing the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Do all that.
Mm-hmm.
And most of all, practice. Stay engaged. Make the reels, make the stories, make everything that you can in order to make sure that your voice is getting out there. You don't have to do it every day. A lot of people say, no, you have to do it every day. That creates burnout. And plus two, your voice. No, your voice can't handle that. If you want to follow a certain niche, if you want to follow audiobooks, I went on ACX, found someone, didn't quite work out, but that was an experience. Everything is experience, and a lot of folks are too afraid to get in there and to say what Brene Brown says. No, they're afraid to get in the arena. Right. I'm not. Mm-hmm. I have had failures, ups, downs, all that stuff. I'll jump in. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to do it. And that's what separates a lot of the voiceover talent nowadays from trying to get in here. They're afraid to fail and to look ridiculous. I'm not. This is what I want. I asked for this, so I have to honor the person who I want to become by stepping in that arena and looking at LinkedIn, Fiverr, all those other places. Upload. I have to go in there and I have to talk. Reddit. I know people are like, oh, Reddit. No. You have to be careful when you go on Reddit, because some of those communities, like the voiceover communities, they're very helpful. They'll tell you, hey, you use Audacity, make sure your mic is this level, make sure your gain is here, make sure your fade is here. Oh man, the few communities I'm in there with, I tell them thank you, and I contribute back. So it's all about just getting in there and just doing it. Don't be afraid to fail, because if you're afraid to fail, you're gonna be stuck right where you're at.
You made some great points there of not pushing yourself to do something every day. I mean, it's really more regular reps. Mm-hmm. So if that's once a week, that's twice a week, whatever that looks like, but honoring your own rhythms, being creative and getting out there and seeing who's doing what you're doing and where those conversations are happening. And yeah, there can be positives and negatives in all of it.
Absolutely.
So it's really just steering away well, I don't really feel like that's a fit for me, so I feel no need to argue with this particular group, but I'm going to look for where my people are and where those positive conversations and those helpful hints are happening. Spending time there, that's great. I would imagine that there's got to be, like if you did a search for associations or networking groups, or let's say happy hours for people that are in the industries that you are interested in, that you could find some of those. Some of the in-person stuff. And then if you're not seeing enough of them, create your own, whether it's a meetup group, whether it's some other platform that you're getting the word out on. Sometimes creating your own thing can feel really powerful.
It is very powerful, especially when you knock and you go to these places, you see some inactive. I see a lot of inactive groups. They're huge, but they're inactive.
Right.
You chime in, you bring up some old posts. Hey, I seen this one, I wanted to chime in on here. And then it just depends on the group. You'll get either some immaturity, some sarcasm, stuff like that. And that's when you just move on. So, okay, not for me, next one. You have to keep searching, keep looking. I'm always every 2 weeks, I'm always going to a free webinar, and it's by the same guy. He tells you, okay, today we're going to talk about this. This is how you get into the business. This is how you not get to the business. Your attitude is everything, especially when he says your attitude is everything, how you show up, how you present yourself. Audiobooks, I realized that wasn't my thing, kind of, with what happened. I knew that wasn't going to work, because you can't make faces on audiobooks. When I'm doing auditions and stuff like that, characters and stuff like that, you can make all the faces you want to. That's how you get the job, because that's how you get into the role.
Right.
With audiobooks, you just sitting there, you just going line by line. Maybe a pitch, maybe down, maybe go like this, or it's like,
Well,
I like to make faces.
If there is a camera in the room when I read my own audiobook, there's going to be some faces. That's
Good.
The way it is.
That's how you have to do it.
Because it has to be natural to me. But I could see what you're saying when you're trying to read through someone else's material. Probably a little too much of that is just a little too much of that. But I mean, that's a great point. And I've been thinking of something similar myself. I mean, I'll attend lots of free webinars as well. But one thing that I've been thinking is I can put on some free webinars of my own with what I do know at this point, and then start to create a larger community as well, and then start to get that content out. And it's like, if you want the next level now, then hey, this is when you're going to, it's going to be $19.95 to take this next level of webinar and that type of thing. So I would imagine that, and I challenge you that when you feel a little more ready as well, or maybe even just a touch before you feel ready, that you could put on a few free webinars of your own with what you've learned along the way.
Challenge accepted, because you got to do things even when you're not ready. You're never going to be 100% ready for whatever life's going to bring you. So yeah, I'll take that challenge. Shoot, yeah. I mean, I'm learning a lot. I've learned, even some of the people I go to on their podcasts, I say, well, how about this way? Can't we work it this way? And you don't have to have the best equipment, just as long as you get in there and you start doing it. Because my equipment's not the best. I throw a blanket over the door. That's my sound wall. And as long as my levels are good, I'm fine. He goes, hey, you can do that. And there are other people chiming. Yeah, I never thought of that, putting a blanket over the door to absorb the sound. So,
especially when there's little rugrats running around the house that bark at every little thing. So,
yeah, little good girl, huh?
What was I going to say? Well, I know that a couple of things that I've learned from you watching your trajectory along the way, and with with the consistency you show up with, speaking your truth, taking the filters off, and just being who you are and sharing your heart, and just letting it flow through you. That's something that I've learned from you along the way, and really enjoyed watching that process continue to evolve, and it will still continue to evolve, I'm sure. But what have you learned from the coaching programs, the book that you're reading and that you're still in the middle of somewhere? What have you learned that's been helpful for little nuggets you've learned along the way from me?
Keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. Sure, shit happens. Things are going to happen, but you got to keep going. You can't stop. And if you stop, that's fine. Take a pause, but don't stop. Pausing is fine. If you have to stop, know to pause, regroup, get your head straight, and then keep going, but just don't stop. If you want it bad enough, you keep going. You got to go through the heartbreak. You got to go through that pain. You got to go through every single thing that's going to get thrown in your way. You keep going. Don't stop. So that is the biggest thing I have learned. Just you got to keep going. Because the truth of the matter is, we're gonna die.
Eventually.
So we're gonna die. So keep going. If you want if you want this bad enough, anything you want, don't stop.
Yeah.
Keep plugging away.
It's absolutely important to take breaks and to catch your breath, regroup. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
Regroup, catch your breath, learn from the lesson for a minute, lick your wounds, and then move on. And maybe it's a little pivot. Maybe it's a full reinvention. Maybe it's a re-career. Maybe it's just the next evolution of the direction that you were heading. But yes, absolutely do not stop. Death is the equalizer for all of us. There's no escaping it. That clock keeps ticking. And for me, I sure as hell don't want to have it written on my headstone someday that, man, she was so close. Too bad she just didn't push through that next thing, or she held herself back. I don't want that on my headstone.
No, I want to leave. It will not be on there. As long as I'm around, hell no, it'll be on there.
I want to leave that legacy of, you put it all on the table. You go for, guts and glory, and you keep seeing what's next underneath the stuff that's coming up and those little barriers that we have to work through, that you keep seeing what's next. You're always looking for what's just beyond where I'm sitting currently. Do you have any closing remark like that?
Just a quote popped into my head when you said all that. I picked up a couple years ago, and I have not stopped living my life by it. I refuse to live an unlived life. Because I have for so long put my life on hold, on pause, for everything I wanted to do. I let the voices in my head get to me. I let certain family and friends laugh at me, and that caused like pain and just and I was like, nah, yeah, who do I think I am to not be good? Then no, working with you, going to the retreats, everything, it just opened up my eyes, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna die someday. And that's when I found that quote. I refuse to live an unlived life. I'm like you. I don't want my headstone to say, oh, he was just that damn close. And the one thing I also realized, thanks to you, our expansion is way, way bigger than our damn bubble. Sure, we know the people that we know, but when we look at the whole world, that's who we want to reach. Not just that little bubble of people who are going to doubt, say, no, who the hell do you think you are? Oh, I think I'm the son bitch who's going to be great at this. Whether you're along for the ride or not, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be great at this, and I don't need your permission or anyone else's no damn more. I just need mine. Right. And I'm going to work it. If you get my way, I'm going to run your ass over. Yep. And the most we can do is just live by that simple truth, which is within our heart. Just to keep going forward.
Well, and if we become the conglomeration of the 5 people we spend the most time around, and that never changes, and yet we're like sitting in this cage going, why can't I expand? Why can't I get through these levels? Well, we have to up-level our life and up-level our friends and the people that we're spending time with and the spaces that we're spending time in. That's where growth happens too, of really seeing the people around us pushing themselves and growing, and that's where it inspires all of us. It kind of ripples out, and that's the kind of legacy that I want to leave too, is that we're not going to stay small in this little blossom that's afraid to bloom, that we're actually, like Anais Nin said, like we're going to take that risk, because that pain of remaining small is too much to bear. So we have to, and we're willing to push through the pain of continuing to grow, even when it means changing our environment and sometimes the people that we're spending time with too.
Changing my environment, changing who I spend more time around, that's been a game changer too. Being around you and Buzz, the talks that we've had, being down here in Phoenix, the opportunities and stuff like that, because honestly, the opportunities didn't start coming until I moved down here. Once I got out of Flagstaff, it's just like all of a sudden I got voiceover work. I damn near had that job within a day. So I came down here, and just everything is just expanding. And it's this isn't a knock against all my old crew back in Flagstaff, right? But it's just, like you said, if we don't expand, we're going to stay stuck in that same damn spot. And being down here and being around other people, you, Buzz, other people who I'm starting to work with, it really has been a game changer. So yeah, I would wholeheartedly tell people, change your environment, change the people who you're around, change you, become the person that you know you can be. Like for me, it was constantly telling myself for the past year, I'm going to be the person I needed when I was 14 years old. And
I love that.
That, the man, the way he stands, the way he walks, talks, the way he smells, hell, even the way he smiles at people, the way he interacts. That's the person who I needed when I was 14 years old. And then I can emulate off that, and slowly over time, I become that person. And it's just all part of our up level. We have to keep leveling. If not, then what we don't change, we choose.
Yeah. And we don't just stay still and stationary, we slide back.
Oh yeah. I've had that, boy. I've had that a few times, and it sucks. Because then you have to start all over again, which is fine, but don't keep sliding back when you know you can keep going forward. Honor where you're at. something pops up. Hey, it's okay to feel down, feel a little like shit. We got this. Let's keep going. Mm-hmm. It's not what's it called, compartmentalizing.
Right.
I can't even talk right now. Mm-hmm. You just honor where you're at and just keep going forward.
Well, I want to close on and expand on that golden nugget that just came out of your mouth a minute ago. We all should work at being the parent that we didn't get for ourselves. We should work at being the friend that we didn't have to ourselves. We should work at being that coach that, maybe was okay, but that could have been better. That we're really working towards being that man, that woman, that person, that individual, that whatever, hat that you want to put on them, showing up and being that for ourselves. Showing up and delivering those things that we didn't get at the times that we fucking needed it. Mm-hmm. That's where some significant change happens. That's where those ripples go out as well too. And then we're modeling that systematic change and that showing up for self to other people as well, to encourage them to do the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to. I just read it. It was a quote I just read not too long ago. Be the example you want to see, or something like that. I've seen that over the years. I know I'm probably misquoting, but it's like something like, be the example you want to see. Mm-hmm. And it's like you said, I wholeheartedly believe that too. We got to level up. We got to be that coach that we didn't have. We got to be that parent we didn't have. That brother, that sister. Yes, brothers can also embody the sister that they wish that we never had, and we got to hear it, and because that person will give us the life advice and push us to that next level that we need to get at. I really believe that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm proud of you. You have made great progress over the years. I've loved watching you continue to kind of crawl through and find those next spaces and shine more and more along the way. So I am very proud of you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have a good crew. I have you, Buzz. I have a few other people, and honestly, it does take a village. And if it wasn't for the village I have right now, I probably know exactly where I'd be. Not here talking with you. Definitely not here in Phoenix. Ain't no telling where I'd be. Mm-hmm. And I told myself, I can't squander everything what they've showed me and what they taught me. Can't do it. That's not only disrespecting myself. That's a huge disrespect to all of you if I did nothing with that knowledge. So
we take the lesson. We learn from all the negative shit too, just as much as the positive things. So honoring the lesson, letting it sort of fall behind, and then reaching for that next rung. And I can't wait to see what you do next. I'm ready to keep growing and pushing as well. So I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
And we'll get together again and rap about some more stuff.
You know this. This.
Well, good job.
Good job.
And my leg fell asleep.
Why are you looking at? She's just gonna go push the camera.